All right, gentlemen, welcome in to another PGA DFS live stream. My name's Polzin. As live as you guys know, gonna be doing a round one recap as well as a round two preview. Hopefully giving you guys some prize picks, bets, and some really good showdown picks. So just kind of starting out with the recap of, well, yesterday. So just looking at it, I'm just pulling up the PGA Tour leaderboard. I would say yesterday went as expected, okay? Where, you know, some players didn't go off and some players did. It's pretty much as simple as that. The scoring was a little bit lower than I thought, but I did think it'd be a pretty easy birdie fest, just given the nature of the event, given the fact that the weather was looking like it was going to be easy, you know, kind of like it was last year where we saw some really big scores. Okay. So with that, like prize picks wise, a lot of the overs actually hit, and I thought the overs were really aggressive, and I'll get into this more, but we're seeing that the numbers are even higher now today, so that's kind of interesting there, okay? So looking at it, we did hit the first round leader in Jon Rahm, which is pretty awesome, okay? Came through in the clutch, really. 12-1 for the first round leader. Obviously, that was chopped up to 4-1, and I'm kind of mad at myself for not doing Collin Morikawa, because I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this clip here from Twitter. It was a fun video that I posted. I think I'm going to do this weekly. I kind of teased this on the live stream the previous day. So I'll just go ahead and play this. Okay. It's just a fun thing. Okay. But I think I'm going to do this going forward. It's a content thing, but I'm mad at myself because you guys will see the graphic pulled up here. Collin Morikawa was the 8th rated golfer, and kind of my golden rule with first round leader betting is go the earliest you can. And you guys will see everyone on the list was basically very late tee time. So kind of got bailed out a little bit by Jon Rahm. Obviously, he's the most likely, but let's just go ahead and play this. It is a 2-minute clip, but it's fun. Kind of want you guys to see it.
Deciding who are the best first round leader bets. What we're going to do is we're going to take this Sharpie, mark up these golf balls with the numbers 1 through 7. And then we're going to go ahead and just do some putts. Whichever golf ball is the last one standing, aka the last one to make the putt, is going to be the golfer that we are betting on. And so the 1 through 7 is going to be the golfer that ranks out that for first round leader rank. All
right, so there's the list. Let me pause that. Let me go back.
Let's go ahead.
So this is part of the reason as to why it was a pretty decent round one showdown as well. If you got the correct combinations of players correct, you did pretty well. Obviously, Jon Rahm did well. Son James did well. Scotty did well. Max Homa, not too good. Brian Harman, okay. Like you would have taken that. Justin Thomas was a disappointment. Matt Fitzpatrick did well. Okay, and then right below this is Collin Morikawa. Once again, I was kind of mad at myself for not going with Collin Morikawa because of the early tee times. Like, he was the only one that's really here. I mean, Harman, I guess, a little bit, but I like to focus on, you know, the earliest tee times, the AM tee times. We see that be beneficial. So I'm just kind of calling that out. So let me just finish this.
So let's go ahead and do that.
Just a fun way to apply the content here. I mean, let's be honest. So you guys can see the putting green there is kind of flopping up there when I walk. I definitely need to finish this. I'm working on a video actually for this. I want to do a 9 to 5, maybe more golf content. Just figuring out how to do that, but I'm going to show people how I kind of went and made this in a very cheap and efficient way. And then after I do that, I'm going to drill in all the stuff and kind of finish it. That's why I'm putting into a cup. I actually have a cup. I just need to drill the hole. But I think that'd be a fun thing, and I'll show you guys that obviously once I do it.
All right, so we had 2 balls that made it. I'm counting the first one. That was ball number 2. Other one was the tie this.
I mean, they both shot -7, right? I mean, pretty good stuff. 2 off the first round lead. People could have bet them to top 10 and did fine.
All right, round number 3. They're both still alive. No, we're going to switch putters. Shitty old Nike putter. Here we go. Tie this first. Tie this drains it.
Banged it. That was a fun putt. I don't know why. Could you guys hear the difference in the golf balls there, though? Like the sound of them? Like, some of them have more pop, some of them are more soft. That was weird just when I was listening to it back. And, like, listen to the sound of this putter. This putter sucks. Obviously. Like, didn't that sound terrible? I don't know if it's turned up enough, but terrible sounding. Okay, so that was pretty much it. They both tied and whatnot. It was just a fun thing there. Okay, so that was my long way of saying, you know, first round leader stuff is fun. Typically speaking, it can be profitable. There was someone in the comment section of that video was like, is this scientific? And obviously the putts are not scientific. Everyone knows that, but the kind of rankings are pretty good. Last year when I was measuring it, I'm going to redo this again. Players that were rated top 7 had the first round lead over 50% of the time. And I forget the exact number. This was pretty much this time last year I started tracking this. So I'm going to do it again, but I probably will do it throughout the whole year. And that's not that hard to do because someone like John Rahm, who obviously is a good play, they chop it up. You know, there's multiple first round leaders. So as long as you are hitting on the first round leader and then occasionally hitting a really good one, it's going to be profitable. So just kind of want to touch on that. Round 1 Showdown was also really good. But just talking about players that, you know, might have disappointed. And I should have started this video off with saying, guys, do not get too excited or do not get too down on yourself. There is so much golf to be played. And honestly, I'm sitting pretty well right now with my lineups and I hate it. Okay. We have seen time and time again, starting out good in these events is not good. It's actually the opposite. Typically speaking, my best weeks on these no cut, easy scoring events like this have been the exact opposite, where it starts out bad on the first day and then really the players just go off. So that actually gets me excited for some players like Patrick Cantlay here. Okay, Patrick Cantlay, and I find this very interesting. He actually had a pretty good round. He couldn't really hit at that many fairways. That was terrible. And you expect this to be better. But I want to point this hole out. This was interesting to me. Shot tracker wise, it shows that he had to take a drop in what appears to be like a sand trap. I didn't see this shot. I'm curious as to if you guys saw this shot. And gosh, I hate the PGA Tour ads. They just jump on the website so much. But he had to take a drop and then making a double bogey. Like I don't know if he hit that OB or not. It didn't really say. I didn't see it. So if he gets, you know, doesn't get a double there, it's a much better day. You know, -5, we would take that. And then really, did anyone see any shots of Xander yesterday? I didn't really get to see him as well. How did his back look? Because I didn't see that. Okay. Must be the nitros, Casey with the nitros. I want to do a golf ball review on the nitro. So part of the content that I want to do here, and I've done this before, I got this little cutter. And let me just grab a golf ball while we're doing it. That's the content I want to do. But I want to do a golf ball review on the nitros. So I don't know. I got a pinnacle here. I'm just going to cut this up. And I just like doing this. It's fun. Also interesting. And then also morning, Charlie. Charlie said morning. Good morning. How you doing? But like, I feel like this would just be fun, stupid content for golf fans. Seeing random golf balls get cut open, you know. All right. Xander didn't look comfortable. Okay. So that's good. We don't have to play him then. That was my biggest question on today. They always smell like golf or shoes. It's just something fun. So I think I'm going to do some more random content like that. Not on this page, don't worry. But let's see. Colin James has a question as well. Just let's see if I can answer this. Playing a big single entry. How much money is too much money left over? Well, let me just talk about the Showdown then as well in just a second here. So just talking about these players like JT, Xander. If you guys are on these guys, maybe not Xander because of the injury, but JT, don't be too worried about him. Cameron Young, Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay. These guys that were good plays, they should bounce back, okay? And I'll show you guys that on the round 2 leaderboard Showdown and whatnot, okay? And then, but looking at like, it's so bunched up, guys, and that's why you shouldn't get too excited or too down on yourself. It takes a good play like Patrick Cantlay going low, and it takes, honestly, yes, JJ Spawn is a player that I talked up. Okay, happy that he's doing well, but we know he's not going to finish that well. You know, if he can stay in the top 10, that's great, but chances are he's just going to be a play that works out, helps us put together a good build, but chances are it's not going to be an elite finish. But nice to see Aaron Wise doing well. Nice to see Sanjay doing well. Scotty, Stallings, you know, that was pretty nice. And then Seamus Power, you know, a guy that we liked as well. And then the cheap value play, Trey Mullinax as well, doing well. So he is someone that's not hurting us as well. So that's good stuff there. Okay, so let me just go ahead and I'm going to pull up the PGA lineup builder. So let's just see kind of what the optimal lineup is spitting out for the round 2 showdown. And I'm going to cap Xander's exposure. I just don't want that much of him. Just obviously given that injury history or concern. And then JJ Spawn as well. Obviously some that should be due to regress. I haven't looked at the data just yet. We'll do that in a second here. We'll do 15. Okay, so let's just see if there's a build out there that doesn't have a lot of salary left over there, Colin. So no, they're all pretty optimal. So let's just see the numbers here. We got 325 is pretty much the lowest and 326 is the highest. So what I'm going to do to kind of answer your question here, I'm going to do a max salary of this and see if it spits out any other kind of builds that wouldn't be popping up as much. So let's look at the average salary now for this. So about the same still. But we can see it is starting to open up a little bit more, 1,000 and not that much lower. Okay, 1,000, not that much lower projection wise. So I guess that's my long way of saying, yeah, you could do that if you chose to do so. Okay, so that does make sense. But let's go ahead and get into the round 2 showdown. And I'm going to start off with that coverage. And then I'm going to get into the prize pick stuff because that's going to go hand in hand and it's going to work off of each other. So let me just change the text of this as well. There we go. Look at that. So with the Xander news, I don't think we want to play him. He is someone that would be a good round 2 showdown play, just given the fact that he was a strong play on paper this week. Didn't have it going together all too well. But given the injury stuff, let's just not play him. And I'm kind of mad that Prize Picks isn't putting out anything for him showdown-wise as well, not even matchup-wise. Let's see. Let me just double-check. No, because one beneficial thing I did yesterday was birdie or better percentage for Xander. I went lower, just given the fact that if he is injured, he obviously wasn't going to do that. So that was beneficial. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at it. So these are going to be the top plays heading into round 2 showdown wise. And the rank, as always, is both capturing safety and upside. That is what we're trying to do there. So Patrick Cantlay would be the top play. No shock there. A player that expected to play well this week. Made some birdies. Made one big mistake, really, and couldn't hit a fairway. Obviously, that's expected to correct. Then you got Scotty kind of continuing his good form. JT. Seems like JT is always the top play, right, in round 2 showdown, because he'll struggle in round 1 and then just go off in round 2. So he is someone that I think you should be looking at. John Rahm expected to continue his good play, which is crazy. Typically speaking, the players that go off in round 1 are not really expected to play that much better. Then we got Xander. Like I said, let's just write off Xander there. Victor Hovland, who I don't know about you guys, but I was pretty shocked at the Victor Hovland ownership. That was kind of a question mark to me. And Tom Hoge a little bit as well, but I get it with the price tag. Victor Hovland was a little bit shocking to me, given his course history and whatnot. I think he ended up being like top 5% owned. That was an interesting one to me. So let's continue on. Brian Harman, a play that was expected to play well, did okay. And let's just see his stats as well real quick. Harman, let's see stats-wise. Good driving accuracy, good greens, lost strokes putting. So this is a situation in which I would agree that the strokes gained putting as a data point for players that you should target in round 2 showdown is the way to go. Typically speaking, I don't like to just focus on that one stat because, well, collectively, I want to know if a player is expected to play better or worse. And that's why I look at all the data, not just one data point like strokes gained putting. Because if someone like, let's say, Brian Harman didn't miss a green or miss a fairway, well, then you'd expect him to then miss some greens and miss some fairways. But yeah, he could be a good play. And obviously, guys, it is a showdown slate. Like, let's look at the players that we're producing in here. A lot of Brian Harman. And so I would definitely cap this. I'd probably put him at 30%. Same thing with Fitzpatrick. Probably drop this all down. And let's just see here. Oh yeah, I still have that filter on there. Well, let's generate it. Say it to my cat Theo, guys. All right, so much more balance there, and that's something that I would like a little bit better, is to have that balance in there for a showdown. But one thing I'm very interested in is kind of the regression, and this is where I'm excited to see regression-wise. Typically speaking, regression. This is players that are expected to go low. If you're trying to chase upside, this is what you're trying to chase. These are guys that did not do well in round one. This ranking-wise, obviously the players that did well in round one that aren't expected to do well would be down here, okay? But these are typically the players that really go low on the showdown slate. So on an easy scoring track like this, I typically like to go this route. And maybe not Billy Horschel, he was terrible. But maybe you do, because he's going to be low and no one wants to roster him. And that's kind of the beauty of this as well, is that you can typically get some lower owned roster players here. So like JT, Cantlay, Xander, once again, not Xander, just a little bit banged up. People might not want to roster him. But you go Harman, Power, Willie Z as well, popping up there. Kind of got hot at the back nine. And obviously these players are going to get earlier tee times. It seemed like the earlier tee times yesterday were the ones that benefited, whereas the slight later tee times did not score as well. That's typically the case as well, just a little bit less windy. So that makes sense as well. But what I want to do, let's just look at win rank. So win rank heading into round two, these are the players that are expected to win heading into round two. Number one, Jon Rahm, no shock there. And then you got Collin Morikawa, no shock there. I mean, none of this is really surprising. Scotty, Sungjae, JJ Spawn, 6th at -9. I don't know if I would agree with that. Aaron Wise popping up there. That's interesting as well. But this is something that you guys could potentially find an edge with if you wanted to. Sungjae was someone that I liked outright wise. So if he's someone that you guys didn't bet outright wise and you're kind of kicking yourself for that, you probably still get some good odds on him at a cheaper price. Like that is what this is basically geared up to do. But now what I want to do is I want to get into prize picks. So once again, let me change this text real quick. Okay. So I'm going to use this to decide which players we want to be on for prize picks. And let's just look at it. So as a whole, I am worried about the birdie or better numbers here. Okay. There were a lot of scoring opportunities and people were able to convert a lot of birdies yesterday. Okay. I do worry about that today though, because the scoring was super low. Okay. Typically speaking, when we get such a low scoring round, the PGA Tour, and they might not do this because it's the first tournament in 2023. They kind of want it to be easier setup, but they typically will make the setup a little bit harder. The pin placements a little bit harder. They'll move the tee boxes back or something to make sure that the scoring is going to be less. Okay. They just might not do that here, but these are high numbers for birdie or better percentages. Like, based off of last year, they're saying it would play easier than last year, and last year it played extremely easy. So I'm kind of staying away from this and strokes for the most part as well. I will say like these three right here were kind of interesting. Okay, they should be able to go lower than that. And then Willie Z, someone that's expected to have a much better round, you could roll with him as well. 68, that is what, -5. What did he shoot yesterday? -4, I think. Off the top of my head, yeah, -4. Okay, let's look at stats. Yeah, so he is someone that, just needs to add one more birdie. So, like, I don't mind that, but it feels like we're still forcing it. I think the route to go would be birdie or better matchup, and I'll touch on that in just a second. So let's look at greens and regulation. This also seems high. Like yesterday, we were getting some decent ones a little bit lower. Now I don't know if I like it. Okay, once again, I wouldn't mind like Brian Harman a little bit here. I wouldn't mind Willie Z. Patrick Cantlay should have a much better round. You could roll with Sungjae M. Like, I don't mind to bet the overs there. I just feel like these are too close. Okay, fairways hit. Don't love those either. And this is just a stupid one. We're not touching that. So the one that we are targeting is going to be the birdie or better matchup. Okay, and how can we go about doing that? Well, I'm just going to give you guys kind of the process of it. It's not going to be fun, but we're going to go ahead and do it. So let's start with the first one. We got Scotty Scheffler versus Sam Burns. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to type in Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns and compare the two round two wise. Okay, so looking at it, both are expected to be, pretty high scores. That's what this is telling us. And both are pretty good round two plays. Obviously speaking, you would much rather play Scotty Scheffler here. Okay, pretty much speaking, more times than not, Scottie Scheffler is going to play better than Sam Burns. I don't mind this one, okay? I feel like we can find better ones, but for now, I'm going to keep it on the board, okay? So now let's look at Jon Rahm versus Viktor Hovland. This could be an interesting one. So let's see here. All right, so this is what worries me. They are both very good plays in round two. Yes, Jon Rahm is expected to do a little bit better than him, but at the same time, Viktor Hovland is expected to score. So this is one in which I would want to stay away from. I think that's pretty clear to see as to why. So we're not going to do that one. JT versus JT versus Cameron Young. I'm going to say I probably don't like this one either. Let's see if the data does. And this isn't a fun process, and hopefully eventually I can streamline this process, but this is what I'm doing for today's video, guys. All right, so this would say JT, hammer JT. He should be the better play. Typically speaking, dominates in round two. Top in regression, third best rank. So this tells us that JT should hit. Okay, so I'm going to trust it. I'm going to go with it. From there, let's just keep doing it. We don't have too many. Let's just go with the ones that we think just on paper would be the ones that we would want to attack. Okay, right? Just logically speaking. Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, let's take a peek at that. And then, heck, all these six I'm very interested in as well. So we'll look at those as well. Then who was the other one? Homa. Okay. And guys, with the prize pick stuff and really anything, as always, like I want this to be a community-based thing, but especially with the prize pick stuff, if there is something that you think there's a big edge on, let us know. Like whether it's in the chat, whether it's in the comment section, let us know, because this is something that obviously everyone can be beneficial from. Like withholding information, maybe, that can be beneficial, I guess, in DFS, gain an edge there, but for prize picks, it's really not. So if you guys ever see something that you think is a big edge, let us know in the comment section. Let us know in the chat. Want it to be a community win, really. So this would suggest that Patrick Cantlay should be able to score better. Okay, let me just look at Max Homa here. I'm kind of curious as to his data, because he is someone that did rank out well, but I was a little bit worried about just the time off for a lot of players that had come in with good recent form. Just stats wise, did lose strokes putting, was pretty accurate, so you would kind of expect him to putt a little bit better. I think this one could be closer than what the data is basically saying. Now, Patrick Cantlay did putt well, but terrible off the tee. So you kind of expect him to be better off the tee, thus giving him better opportunities to score. So yes, that is going to be one I am choosing to stay away from. I don't like that. Okay. Colin Morikawa, Seamus Power. I can already tell you guys, I don't want to touch that one actually. Okay. Power, probably a decent play. Colin Morikawa, most likely going to regress a little bit today. I don't want to touch that. Tony Finau, JJ Spawn. This one should be a big edge. This one is most likely going to be hammering Tony Finau. And eventually, guys, with these live streams, the quality is going to go up. Hopefully next week, and I will be able to pull up comments that are in the comment section as well, or the chat section. Okay. So Brandon, does your state let you do sports betting? I'm just curious. And this is stuff that we can apply knowledge elsewhere as well. And that's kind of the beauty of it. But I'm curious. Yeah. How many of you guys that can't play prize picks is like sports betting available for you guys in your state? Because for me to sports bet, I have to drive 15 minutes across the Illinois border or to the Illinois border and place those. Okay. But I get prize picks here. It's a weird thing. And I know it's annoying for everyone. I don't get it. Every state should legalize all this stuff. It's just free tax money. Okay. So looking at this, Tony Finau, this tells us that he's not the best round two scorer, but at the same time, should be a much better, I shouldn't say much better play, should be a better play than JJ Spawn. JJ Spawn obviously really went off. he was a player that did rank out decently well, as like someone that should outproduce his price tag. But we know like Tony Finau should be able to beat out Spawn today. Like just time and time again, if you just bet on, I always keep saying this is going to be the theme. If you bet on the better players, the better golfers, it's typically going to work out for you. So this one is one I'm actually interested in, Scott Stallings versus Matt Fitzpatrick, because Stallings has been someone that's popping up. One of my kind of favorite players right now. Okay, so yes, this would suggest Matt Fitzpatrick over Scott Stallings. And I don't disagree with that. Let's roll with that. I like that. Let's keep going. We got Willie Z versus Trey Mullinax. I would assume this would be one we would want to hammer on paper as well. But let's just confirm it. Yeah. Okay. It is. So like I do like Trey Mullinax value wise. Okay. Like it just makes sense. I shouldn't say it just makes sense. He was a GPP kind of risk, but I do think he's still going to be someone that does outproduce his price tag. He was someone that allows you to pay up for the studs. Round 2 showdown, prize picks wise, let's just hammer Willie Z here, because that should be a good one. And so did anyone keep a tally of the ones I said were like ones we should hammer? I think it was Willie Z. Was that it? Willie Z and Tony Finau. Was that it? I can get sportsbook, but no prize picks. Okay. Yep. New Hampshire doesn't do prize picks, but sportsbook. Okay. So that's good. That's kind of what I was hoping for, because this knowledge can still be applicable to sports bettors as well. Okay. I think the way prize picks set it up for content purposes, it's much easier to like give this to you guys. That's kind of why I use DraftKings over FanDuel, because like giving you guys content, it's much, much easier that way. The construction of it, the information of it, the flow of it, it's just it's easier to present. So I'm curious. I haven't pulled those up. Do those have these matchup bets, or are they different ones? Okay. The process would be the same though. Let's look at this one. Tom Kim versus Russell Henley. I don't think I want to touch that, because Russell Henley can get hot. I don't want to touch that one. Jordan Spieth versus Salih Tagala. I don't really want to touch that. This one should be one that we would hammer, I'm assuming. Sungjae Im versus Corey Connors. Let's take a peek at that, though. And I don't get why Prize Picks has it set up this way. Pretty much, if you are just going to bet on the best golfer, in each matchup, and maybe you just do, the two bets for it, typically speaking, that's going to hit, on average in the long term, that's going to be a profitable way to go. So it's just kind of strange that they have it set up that way. And maybe they're just doing that for this tournament, but right now there's an edge there, and I feel like we should be targeting that edge. And yes, Sungjae Im should do better than Corey Connors. The thing with Corey Connors is this is him as a golfer, okay? He is never, I shouldn't say never, he is typically not going to be someone that's going to go off and like light up a easy scoring track. Okay, that just hasn't been him. Whereas Sungjae Im has dominated this course. Okay, a lot of people are going to talk about Collin Morikawa's course history and how dominant he's been in his rounds here, which is true. Sungjae Im has pretty much done that exact same thing. So I'm going to be hammering Sungjae Im. So right now, my favorite two are going to be Sungjae Im and Willie Z. Okay. And for this, I think we have 6 here, so I can eliminate some if I don't like it. I can tell you right now, I don't really love Hideki or Hoagie. I still worry about that. This one's interesting. Let's talk about Billy Horschel versus Seb Straka, because Seb Straka, I would say, was one of the players that I didn't want to mess with at all this week. And Billy Horschel just had a terrible round 1. So this one's interesting, and there could be an edge there. Okay, so Billy Horschel is expected to do better today, whereas Seb Straka, that is basically what he was expected to do. Obviously, with Billy Horschel, shot +3. No duh. He's expected to do better, okay? It's not that difficult to do better than that. Rank-wise, Billy Horschel, but this pretty much tells me stay away. We don't need to target that one. Mackenzie Hughes, KH Lee, don't want to mess with that. Chaz versus Ryan Brehm. Yeah, let's take a peek. No, not touching that. Even split. Okay. JT Polzin versus Luke List. Yeah, I don't want to touch those two. So honestly, this would probably be the board that I go with. So I don't mind that. This is decent. And this is what I like about it, guys. And I think they tweeted something about their first flex play of the day. If you lose, you get your money back. So something there. Stallings on the juice again. Do you think he is actually there, Jackie? Do you think Stallings is on the juice? I don't know. Maybe he is jacked. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I never like to accuse anyone of that. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to try to make a good showdown build, okay? And hopefully there's enough contests that are still available that I can go ahead and enter this in because, well, I've been doing content this whole morning, so we'll see. And then also like a little bit of research and stuff for this as well. So let's go ahead and do it. So I do think Patrick Cantlay and JT, it is a little bit risky given the nature of we have a bunch of studs in this event and any of the studs can go off. The data says we like Cantlay and JT, so let's target those two. Brian Harmon as well. I was hoping the price point would drop down a little bit more because I feel like including him would make a more difficult build. Trey Mullinax, I still don't mind. Okay, he is someone you could roll with if you want to. If you think JJ Spawn is just going to continue to do well, you could roll with that as well. It's not terrible. It's not a terrible route to go. Scott Stallings could easily continue a decent round. But yeah, I want to do studs and duds again. And honestly, I probably would want to favor the earlier tee times just because yesterday it seemed like the earlier tee times just did better. Unless your name is Tom Kim. That guy is a stud. Holy crap, guys. Tom Kim, it is just amazing. Time in and time again, it's just like he can't do it again. And he's just going off again today. It's honestly spectacular. So Billy Horschel, early tee time. Let's see here. None of these. So JT, early tee time. Could go Homa, earlier tee time. Patrick Cantlay, about middle of the field there. Not terrible. But like I said, like earliest tee times there yesterday. Right? Let's confirm. Okay, I guess that wasn't too early for those two. Where are they? Oh, yeah, right here. Colin's right there. JJ Spawn there. So pretty early. I'm toying around with the idea of if I want to play Billy Ho or not because he's going to be low owned. Let's see the price tag on him. No, I feel like that's a little bit too high. Like, still want to do studs and duds. So no. Big Tone. Let's see if we can fit Ramen there. No. Fitzpatrick, we could roll with still. I like that. I would honestly like to fit Sanjay in there. 7K left over. Let's see. Really can do anyone. Scotty or Stallings, I'm fine with. That's okay. I don't really love this. So honestly, I'm probably just going to use the lineup builder. That was pretty successful yesterday. I had like 8 terrible builds in all honesty and like 3 really good builds. Kind of got lucky, I guess, but it's kind of how showdowns go as well. Dude, Tom Kim is incredible. I just don't get how he continues to produce these results. It's amazing. It really is. Like, he probably is the future #1. You're probably not wrong there. I wonder, is that a bet you can make? That'd probably be a good bet. I guess it'd be when is he going to be the future #1? That would be a good feature. Tom Kim, future #1. Let's talk to some sports book and let's make that happen. That'd be a fun one. Be kind of like the Rory and his dad bet, where his dad made a random bet with the sports book that his son would win. What was it? 2 majors was the bet, which is kind of a dumb bet, because I know it's his son's money if he wins the 2 majors, but if his son wins two majors, that's a lot of money. And you would assume that a son that wins that much money would somewhat take care of their kid. I always thought that was weird. That's not a bad build there. So the thing with JT and Cantlay is it is a little bit risky, especially given the time of year that it is. Because really, do I think they are going to have a low round this weekend? Yes. Typically speaking, after a poor round 1, they would bounce back in round 2. The fact that this is the Sentry Tournament Champions, the fact that a lot of these golfers are shaking off rust, maybe doing some small tweaks that haven't been known to us. Maybe they changed a putter. JT actually did that. But maybe Patrick Cantlay switched some equipment and he just hasn't gotten used to that. Or maybe he's trying new shoes or something. We don't know that stuff. So that's typically why we see a higher variance during this tournament than we do other tournaments, and really in the middle of the season when a lot of golfers, their most time off spent is like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month. Whereas right now it could be a month, 2 months, in some cases 3 months for their competitive rounds. So that is what makes them a little bit riskier today than they would on a typical day, because we don't know if that's just them shaking off the rust. That's what they're going to be like for, a week or two, or an event or two. Tough to say. And that's where, honestly, maybe going with a more fair and balanced approach could be the approach for round 2 Showdown. Although, typically speaking, that's not what you want to do. But honestly, you could go, let's just see here. I want Cantlay still. I think Cantlay is going to be a good play. Could drop down to Finau, though. That should still be a good one. I mean, this isn't a terrible build as well. This has upside. We're taking a risk on Brian Harman, probably going to be lower owned. Scott Stallings, I don't feel like we need to play. I like Scott Stallings. It's more of a bias there. But yeah, that's my long way of saying I did like that lineup approach. Quick thoughts on Polzin today. Well, let's pull up JT Polzin. So he is someone that isn't expected to do as well as he did yesterday. Is pretty much it. Now, how much worse? It might just be a stroke or two. Or it might just be a stroke. He might just go -4 or whatever the average is. He might just be a little bit lower than that. Not a terrible play. He's kind of like a Corey Connors to me. I kind of mentioned that earlier, where like with JT Polzin, going to be a solid play. Like the risk shouldn't be high with him. Okay, he should be someone that you are going to get a few birdies from and feel good about it. So like showdown wise, if you end up on him as like a value play, someone that you think won't hurt you, that should be him. And I would say, yes, there's a little bit of chance that he goes low. That always happens. These are professional golfers. Chad Ramey and Ryan Brehm, I believe they both shot under par. Ryan Brehm shot -5. Ryan Brehm had been terrible really since his victory 6 months ago. So like, yes, golfers can get hot and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, this is just terrible. How did he go -5? Honestly, like he has been bad on the PGA Tour. Good for him. That tells you the course setup. Postman can't hang. He's all right. He can hang with this price point. Okay, I do want to pull up Adam Svensson real quick on the leaderboard. And what are your guys' thoughts on the new PGA Tour app? I didn't like it thus far. And I can't tell if I was just so used to the old one or if I just don't like the new one. It seems like they're trying to be too much like the DP Tour, honestly. Yeah, so this is something that popped up for Svensson. Really was driving the ball accurate, really was hitting greens, okay? And once again, I always say, like, do not just focus on strokes gained putting with showdowns, okay? Too many times people say that, I'm like, that's just wrong. When the data matches, though, like this, where, did drive the ball well, but not, like, super well to the point where you're like, all right, we need to worry about that regressing, or, was too well with the greens. Like, no, this is where it matches up well. He is someone that should be able to go out and putt better. I mean, 3 strokes putting loss, that's bad. Okay. So not a terrible play. Okay. I do want to point out one thing with JT as well. Double bogey. Okay. So that obviously didn't help him. You don't expect him to do that again. Wasn't that good on his approach shots into par 5s. Okay. This one was pretty good, but let's see the other one. Like these could have all been a little bit better, a little bit more aggressive. What was he? -2 on the par fives? Is that right? Did I read that right? All right, -3. Okay. I kind of expect him to score all birdies on the par fives. Maybe gets an eagle as well. I expect him to have a better day on the par fives. Yes, he can hang with the cheap guys. All right, so I'm going to be getting out of here shortly. If you guys have any questions, make sure to get them in. If not, I'll be getting out of here. Yeah, these showdown videos will be interesting to do going forward. I do want to do them. I think they're beneficial. You know, we had a lot of success last year with the showdowns, specifically round 2. I did a little challenge. I think it was this time last year, I believe, or maybe it was February, where I put an emphasis on the showdown because we found an edge there, and I made a challenge. I'm like, I want to have 3 GPP winners in the first, or in 3 different months of the year, and we did that in the first 3 months of it. So it'd be fun to get back to that. I mean, there can be an edge there. Obviously, this is a no-cut event, smaller tournament field event. The edges are a lot smaller. The luck factor is a lot bigger. So, yeah. But yeah, the showdown videos, it's weird because obviously it did this in the morning because of the tee times. Different events, it'll be difficult just given when they come out, when it finishes. Early on in the season, there's weather delays, fog delays, and whatnot, which really would make it tough. So I will try to do these videos. Maybe not like round 3 and round 4. It'd be nice to. We'll see. Obviously, weekends are a little bit different. If I can put them out there, I will. If not, we'll see. But I do want to do the round 2 showdown videos a lot more because I feel like there's a big edge there, especially in the full tournament field events. Final player picking from Hideki, Horschel, and Tagala. Yeah, I feel like Tagala would be the safest there. Billy Horschel is definitely going to be low owned. I shouldn't say definitely, but should be lower owned. People don't want to roster him. Let's go back to it. That's just why tell you what I think when I have the data here, I personally think, though, Tagala is the safest play. So regression-wise, obviously, Billy Horschel is expected to do better. Okay, so it's pretty much even, okay? It's saying there's a slight edge to Hideki, okay? But they're basically even. I mean, this is very close. Projected points, it's the same as well. So very close there. Obviously, if we went to the decimals, it'd probably be a little bit different. Safety, I think, in Tagala. He's a guy that can score. Hideki ranks out slightly better. So I guess my answer would be Hideki there. Quick Hovland rundown. Well, I was pretty shocked at how chalky Hovland was. First off, let's see what he's projected to do today. He should be a decent play today. Showdown-wise, decent play. Let's see what his price point was on this showdown slate. I feel like he's at a weird price point this week. That's why I was surprised he was chalk, because given his price tag, I felt like he wasn't someone that you're like going out of your way to play. And maybe people put a lot of stock into the Hero World Challenge, where I haven't done that in past years and it's worked out. Yeah, I don't know. Let me look at the stats for him as well. Obviously, really went low yesterday. I had a few bogeys. Let's see stat-wise. Like, you don't expect this performance out of him. And this is where I say, like, don't always look at putting, because you expect him to drive the ball a little bit more accurate, but he's probably not going to putt as good. I would say he's going to be a safe. Like, for showdown purposes, he's safe. Let's see win rank-wise, 10th. Kind of is what he is. He's priced correctly for the showdown slate. Say there's not really a huge edge there. Fine play. It's really all I got there. That's golf content sometimes. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of people come into the live stream. Like I said, I want this to be something I do more of. And going forward, I do want to be able to pull up the questions. I'm still working on that, and have the quality be a little bit better. But with time constraints, I just want to get a live stream out to you guys, get that information out to you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. Before you leave the video, make sure to hit a thumbs up, guys. But yeah, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep passion. Oh, Charlie. Thoughts on Power. You can't do that when I'm doing my send-off. I'm just kidding. Seamus Power, let's look at him real quick. I'm not going to pull up the screen. Power is a fine showdown play today. He actually ranks out pretty well showdown-wise. He is someone that probably going to shoot about the same score they did yesterday.